Okay. What I got to do here now is I got to continue. I got to sand this with 220 very lightly, and I got to continue with the gray paint down here. So I'll hit this whole area again so it's all evened out. And on the passenger door, I was looking back at one of my earlier videos, and I can't remember what video it was, but it was done 4 or 5 years ago. I had a big rust spot here, not even on camera, and I ground it as much as I could, and I put aluminum paint on it. I think aluminum paint is the answer, because this has never come through. The rust is totally stopped. So in this area all through here, I'm going to redo the gray again. I cleaned it all down with a strong cleaner. I lost the trim that goes here. Now I'm going to take these out if I find the trim, and I'm going to put screws in, stainless steel screws, because I don't know how these things work. I'm not going to kill myself trying to figure out how to get them in there. So I'm going to knock these out. I'm not going to do that now. Matter of fact, I'm not doing any body work. I'm just going to spray paint today, and that's all I'm going to do. So I've got the gray paint. I don't put the covers on these things anymore. I just throw them out. They're not worth breaking up the can and ruining them, trying to get them off. So I marked gray on there. Didn't have a black marker handy, so I had a green one. But anyways, that's the paint I'm going to use on it, and it's about 3/4 full, so I think it'll be enough. I only need to put 1 coat on that. On this, I was told this stuff is called Tolex, T-O-L-E-X, I believe. Anyways, I cleaned that. Look how dull and crappy looking it is. So this has got to be painted. And over here, it's got to be glued down. I had some of my viewers tell me to restore the scope, others say don't. Make an octopus out of it, whatever that is. I know you can make a curve tracer on it, but this is too damn big for that. Way too big, and I don't work with solid state stuff that much to make it worthwhile. But anyhow, I had to stick it over here because it's in the way in the shop. On the bandsaw, one of my viewers, or 2 of my viewers, noticed that the blade is not between the rollers. Well, I have instructions. I think Ron C. sent them to me to link to them, but it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to make out the pictures, the photograph part of it, to see where the adjustments are on this. So I might try to get a manual on it. See what I mean about this plastic here? I'm going to put a piece of sheet metal from here to here and just hold that together, because that's ridiculous here. That shouldn't be like that. But anyways, yeah, to screw this down, some of my viewers are telling me to do that because most of the time they're using it on the flat. And that's probably all I'll ever be using it for, is on the flat. So I could drive a screw into the side underneath there. There's supposed to be some kind of an adjustment, according to Ron C., under there to tighten this up, but I have not found it yet. But one thing at a time. Let's go in the shop, and I want to discuss that radio. Finally bought some more Duco cement because I had to have it. I was almost totally out. And I've been working on the speaker. The speaker I have, which would fit right in there, does not have the self-tapping screw holes in the back of the magnet to mount it in, because that's where it goes, right there on that bracket. So these are all dried up. Now I can, so the cone is stronger now, and I took a piece of McDonald's napkin, put some Duco cement on it, put this on it, and when this dried up, I put a coating of Duco cement on top of that. So the cone is stronger now. And then I put some in here, but the problem is you got some tears here too, so Duco cement don't flex that much. But years ago we used to use what they call speaker cement, and it was basically the same as Duco cement. It was hard glue. So anyways, I fixed this here and went around the back a little bit. But I don't know. I priced the tubes from findatube.com, Bob Dubush's site, and the prices aren't all that bad. If you had to buy all the tubes for this, counting the 3Q5, which isn't all that much money. I have it written down in a house, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was $3 or $4 for that tube new. There's no 1L6, which would be a nightmare. That's why I never liked the Zenith Transoceanic, because it used that expensive tube. So that's why I would never want another one, and they're too big anyways. But if I bought all the tubes it needed, every single tube in here, but most of the tubes are good. The 3Q5 tests good, and I think I got 2 bad tubes in here and 117 Z3, which on findatube.com wasn't all that much money either. But if you had to replace every tube in here, it's about $28 to $30. I don't want to spend that right now, and I don't need to replace every tube in here. But, you know, who knows the condition of the IF coils? Who knows the condition of the oscillator coil? And whatever else. Is here. This here is the speaker wire, and this yellow wire was so long and was bent over that this elbow part, this bent part, was pushing through the cone, made a hole in it. So I naturally had to pull that wire out and replace it. It just goes right to the output transformer right up there. It is pretty congested. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least 12 or 13 paper caps. But I don't know if I want to work on it or not. I have a lot of certain values and other values of caps I'm low on, so I have not renewed my supply of caps, buying them from Sal's Capacitor Corner. I don't really know. I'm cleaning up the cabinet, and you know, like I say, I try to fix the speaker. The speaker is good, so I have to use that. But whether I'll do any more with it or not, I don't know. I cleaned the fungus off the knobs. And what I'll do is I'll hang on to it. I won't dump it at the ham auction, because I don't think it's going to go for very much. You know, the ham guys are not really interested in these type of radios. I looked also at the Shelf Queen of the Gonset G66, I believe it is, And that guy that was interested in it never replied anymore on that. So obviously, you know, most of these people are just what they call tire kickers, you know. They want something for nothing, and, you know, I thought that was a damn good price to ship it. So, like I said before, I'm not farting around with it. That will go to the ham auction. That might bring in some money, I don't know. I'm not going to play around with it, because you're not going to be able to replace the tube sockets in that. I don't care who you are, you're not going to be able to do it, because it's just too tight, too crowded to work on. But this I will not get rid of at the ham auction. I'll hang on to it. It looks black to me, but, and then some brownish in there, but I think that's crud. Can't get it out. The gluing came out pretty good. See, this is definitely black, but the back is pathetic. So, you know, a regular restorer would redo the handle or replace it and everything. You know, like Uncle Doug, I mean, he goes all out when he does his stuff. But he don't do radios, he does guitar amps and stuff. But I mean, you know, there's no way you're going to get that any better. I put strong cleaner on it. I washed it several times with a good cleaner and rinsed it down good. Basically, you just paint it. I was told you use black shoe polish. I remember using shoe polish years ago, not on cabinets. I used that liquid black shoe polish back in the late 60s and early to mid 70s. I used to wear dress shoes and use that black shoe polish. It's a liquid, and it's got a sponge at the end of the stick, and so yeah. So basically, you're just painting the cabinet. I would rather, instead of parting around with that, and I would never use it again. Why not just get black paint? And I've got the black Rust-Oleum gloss, and gloss would look nice on that. I don't know whether I should brush it or not. Probably will, because it's not a collector's. It's not going to go to a collector. But I'm not doing anything with this radio. All I'm doing is just going through it now, looking it over, cleaning it up. Well, my cleaning is quite different from most guys. Most guys would take everything off the chassis and clean it. I don't do that. I'll mess it up, and I'm not about to. It's too much work. So I just wanted to see if the speaker was good and try to replace it, but I can't, because there's no way to mount it. It will not stay in there unless I glued it up in there with some kind of, well, not super glue. I don't like that stuff. It don't seem to work good. JB Weld or something like that. And you just put a bunch of that up on the magnet here and shove it up in there. But as long as I can do something with this speaker, okay. I'd like to put something on the cone to strengthen it up. In other words, something to brush on the cone. But I'm not going to restore the radio, so I really don't need to do that. But if I was going to keep the radio, and I'm still up in the air about that, because I don't think it's that good of a looking radio. I don't care how well it performs. You want something that looks really nice and neat, you know. Maybe a rubber cement or something, a black rubber cement, to paint the whole cone with that. That might strengthen up the cone. My concern is this is so brittle you can poke a hole in it very easy. Not like when they're new. I mean, yes, you can poke a hole in them still, even when they were new, but the paper on this is so brittle. Yeah, I need something to make it stronger. Now, I could probably brush on Duco cement all around the entire cone, and I might do that since I got the new tube. Or I could brush on wood glue. But either way, it's a stiff glue, and I'd have to try to keep it out of the
the surround, because although it's not what you'd call high compliant, you know, it's going to sound like a mid-range speaker rather than more of a full range. But it's still got a rubbing voice coil. But a little bit. And I still got to do something with this. I still got to get the wax for that cabinet. So, anyways, a lot of you viewers said, you know, it's cool radio, you know, I would restore it. You know, no one said to junk it. Some of you said to get rid of the scope. You know, it's nothing special. I know that, except for the knobs and the faceplate. And what am I going to do with it if I restore it? Where am I going to keep it? I bought it for the front and the knobs, as I said so many times. And I just wanted to see if the CRT was any good. And apparently it is. And yes, I could probably restore it, even though the schematic I have is not the right one. Okay, short one this time. Yeah, you don't see short videos from me too often. Alright, I'm going to get out there and going to mask off the areas I don't want to, you know, have spray paint on, and work on the gray part of the van in the lower section. I'm going to do all that off camera. You don't need any videos of that. And that'll probably end the body work for now. There's more to be done, but pretty much, well, there's a little bit on the corner, in the rear corner, again, that I'll have to work on. But I'm not going to be doing much the next few days on that. If I can get all the spray paint done today, and I should be able to, and I'll be working on other things. And then I got my cousin's funeral coming up Friday evening. Thanks for watching. Take care. And I do read your comments, but on the bodywork, there's just too many of them. But I want to thank all of you once again. And I thank you by way of video, and I do read them, and I'm trying to answer them as much as I can by way of video. Take care, everybody.